My mother, at 77 years old, is going to go full carnivore. Why? Here's what we've decided, and this is her context, her story. And yeah, we've decided, it was her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Mom. I love you very much. My mother is inspiring to me because she was basically my first client. I helped her with her nutrition, and we resolved her symptomatic iron deficient anemia and got her life back a few years ago now, where she wasn't able to walk 10 steps without being short of breath or no energy. So we started fixing her diet. And like always, it's context, nuanced. And this is Anthony Stewart, this is Food for Thought, and we're questioning everything they've ever said. And if my mom was following what they say, she would probably not be in her health wouldn't be where it is right now. And it's time to take it to the next level because, we often fall into what the doctor says. And, I have questions, and we've resolved some issues with this alternative way of dealing with it, which is with meat and fat. So first of all, when she was anemic, the doctor gave her iron pills and said it was going to get progressively worse. Within 6 weeks, we resolved her anemia. The doctor was blown away. He didn't understand how. And I knew, because we focused on B vitamins, mineral balancing with copper and iron, and it seemed to work for her. It got her, and focusing on red meat mostly, and it got her out of symptomatic anemia. So later on, she stopped eating as much red meat, and she became anemic through her blood work, but was not symptomatic yet. So we caught it in time, and once again, she's no longer anemic. And I think there is something to do with my mom's ability to store iron. She is an epileptic, and she is on medication. So that might have something to do with it. Years of processed food probably has a lot to do with it. Gut health. But she's got her life back. She's doing well. And now it's the next level. Why would she be going full carnivore now? There's a few reasons. Talking about it with her, she does great things. She doesn't eat processed food for the most part. Very minimal carbohydrates. She focuses on meat and fat. But now, why now do we have to go to the next level? And this is a message to everybody. It's never too late to, evolve your diet. And what you're eating matters. I mean, I'm a firm believer in what you eat will directly reflect over time and immediately how you're feeling. I am eating pretty much a full animal-based carnivore diet for the most part. I mean, I don't like to call it that. I like to call it my diet. I would say it's close to a proper human diet. It includes vegetables from time to time, very minimally, but focuses on nutrient-dense, bioavailable meat and fat. Now, my mom, first of all, she's getting older, and we know through, obvious, apparent reasons that as you get older, you don't eat as much. Frailty, sarcopenia, osteoporosis, these are things that get thrown around quite regularly in the elderly. And what it comes down to is, since I've been learning about protein and muscle protein synthesis, and it's not just so much as building muscle, but the importance of complete amino acid spectrum, and not to mention certain timing of amino acids, is basically, we should be looking at that. And in my mom's situation, she eats a healthy way. Of course, this is my opinion. But what we have to do now is we have to look at her situation. She's developing cataracts, which, is age-related. Age-related macular degeneration runs in our family. That could be an issue. Why that's happening is probably to do with, her life and what she's done up to this point. But now, my idea is we have to focus on what the biggest bang for her buck. Now, when she's not eating enough protein, she's filling up with other things that might not be as nutrient dense or just taking up space instead of focusing on enough protein. And, as long as she's getting all her vitamins and minerals, her essential nutrients, this should be fine. Now, she does eat a lot of meat for her size, but she's about a little over 100 pounds, so we're gonna go with about 100 grams of protein a day. And I'm a firm believer. I follow Dr. Gabrielle Lyon quite rigorously, and she's a geriatric pediatrician, a geriatric clinician that focuses, and she's spent a lot of time with people, and she's noticed that protein is a big deal, especially when you get older. Also, her mentor, Dr. Donald Layman, who studies specifically protein synthesis in the body, and he's come up with a few things that I sort of practice in my own nutrition, but it makes sense. So what we've done with my mom, we're cutting out the vegetables for the most part. It's going to be focusing on meat, and the first meal of the day being the biggest meal. I would say probably 80% red meat. Why? Because it's nutrient dense. It's got everything my mom needs. And if she has an accompaniment, whether it be carbohydrates or salad or a vegetable, those things, because she doesn't consume that much food, are taking up space where she could be filling that with what she needs. So it is proven now that the first time you eat, your body needs 30 grams plus of complete protein, with the branched chain amino acid leucine being 2.5 grams or more. The easiest way to cut the confusion is to eat meat, to eat red meat. There you go. It's done. You don't have to worry about protein combining. You don't have to worry about crude nitrogen, any of that stuff. It's there. So my mom needs to eat about 8 to 10 ounces of meat a day to meet her protein requirements. Now, trying to get my mom to eat a 10-ounce steak in the morning is pretty hard. So we have to focus on that 30-gram number. So we want my mom, when it comes down to this muscle protein synthesis, we don't want my mom losing anything. We want her bones dense. We want her tissues to be able to regenerate. And I'm not a believer in you have to age. It doesn't matter. Your body wants to do its thing. We just get in the way. So she's going to focus on her first meal, which she does really good things. She doesn't eat breakfast in a traditional sense. She breaks her fast usually in the afternoon or, early afternoon. And my mom was going to need to eat 2, maybe even 3 meals because she doesn't get enough. She can't eat enough food in one sitting to meet these requirements. So her first meal is going to contain 5 to 6 ounces of meat, which is 30 plus grams of protein, arguably. So we're not going to worry about the actual counting, but we are going to focus on the amount of food she's eating at one time. And what my mom's going to do is she's going to eat as much as she can in her first meal, and then later on in the day she'll finish it off with some. And for the time, we're going to try this for 30 days, and she's going to see how she does. And she's going to focus on meat, fill up with fat, and then maybe once in a while, if she's going crazy, which it all depends on who you are and how you deal with things, she might have a salad from 1 or 2 days a week just to kind of get her. The biggest fear with everybody is it's going to be boring and I don't know, I'm going to go. But when your body's getting nutrients, it changes things. I don't crave anything anymore. I just want nutrients. And the other day I was thinking about, well, what can I have to sort of have a treat? And I ended up having steak because that was what my body was telling me to do. And it just wasn't, I didn't want anything else, that's cool. So my mom is now going to try this. And the reason being is because she needs to eat enough real food, enough nutrients, and enough check all the boxes with the amount of food she eats, in her context, the best way to do that is to focus on what she needs the most. And, it's in my opinion and my belief that protein is complete protein. With the proper essential amino acids and the proper amino acids, you're going to get most bang for your buck eating red meat mostly. So we're going to try that. And I'm so proud of her because she not only has faith in me, but she's directly seen the results of little tweaks in her diet. And now there's something to be said. I've read Lifespan by, I'm sure you've heard of David Sinclair, and I understand about the sirtuins and xenohormesis and all. There's some great things in there. But I also have followed a Canadian scientist by the name of Michael Rose, and he studies lifespan with flies. And I know we're not flies, but he basically, his, I guess you'd say, thesis is the Cole's Notes version. The older you get, the greater the importance of getting back to a species-specific diet. So that's the question. What is a species-specific diet? Proper human diet. The older you get, the more you need to. Obviously, when you're young, you're resilient. Things happen, but as you age, you need to be like, that's his idea. So that's what we're doing with my mother. So in the comments below, I really do love your comments. I would really appreciate it if you could comment. Let me know how you are, what you think about all this, if you're meeting your protein requirements. And I really appreciate all the subscribers and all the people that are paying attention to this. This is my story. This is my journey. My mom was my first client, and we've resolved a lot of things in her life, and she's thriving. She's the only one around her circle of friends that's not on any unnecessary medication. She doesn't take painkillers. She does good things. She's able to move around now where she wasn't a few years ago. So this is a message to everybody. There's hope, and if you listen to what they say, might not be what's best for you. Stay strong.